First of all, let's thank God for the blessing of a brand new day and the opportunity to once again enhance self. God could have made your whole life one sunrise and one sunset, but he chose to break it down. So no matter how dark it has been, today we have been blessed with the light of another day. And today I want to talk about something about being a father. You know, a lot of us talked about not having dads in our lives, or, you know, our fathers being incarcerated, or our fathers being dead, or our fathers being in the streets, or just not being present. But as we grow older, we become fathers. And when we become fathers, sometimes we have either daughters or sons. And I want to talk to my son. I want to talk to my sons, and all of us to talk to our sons, because as fathers, sometimes you just have to reach out and give your son the best chance to be who he needs to be. And you just have to look at him and say, you know, dear son, I have a confession. In our religion, you know, we believe that want for your brother what you want for yourself. But no matter how much I wanted for my brothers, no matter how much I wanted my brothers to have the same cars, or to have, you know, a good wife, or to have good children, or to have good wealth or good religion or anything, at the end of the day, I always wanted them to have just as much as I. There's only one person in life that I wanted to have more than me, to have a better wife, to have a better life, to have a better religion, to have a better journey, was my son. And the confession that I'm making to you is, as you grow, the only man on earth who truly wants you to be better than him, have more than him, and be better at every level is your father. And that's what I want for my son. I want to say, dear son, nobody's perfect, but I need you to understand that the wisdom that I do have and the things I have learned have not came from always doing things correctly. It's came from my mistakes. So I understand if you don't want to be just like me, or you want to take your own journey, but just understand when I tell you that something's not good for you, or to not go down a particular path, is because I know, because I've made so many mistakes that added up to so much wrongdoing, or just not the right way. I'm trying to guide you in a way that's better for you. Dear son, in this country we live in, the reality of being a black man is something crazy. So I put some lessons on you, some things you may not have agreed with. But the truth is, in this country we live in, sometimes people just hate us just because we're a black man. The bottom line is, if you take the average black man and he makes himself a millionaire, or you take the average white man and make him a millionaire in the same country, the white man could be totally planning for his future, or everything's for his family. But the truth is, the black man somewhere deep inside may feel that somebody's coming around the corner to take it from him, or somebody's coming to knock him down from a notch that he has put himself on, or in some way, in every experience, he is lesser than because he's a black man. So the lessons I teach you, dear son, is to prepare you for this reality that we face in this country, which is called racism. It's not a great reality, but it's the truth. Dear son, I tell you to love what God loves and hate what God hates. You know, but there's two sides to every story. You'll hear every story of a police officer that has, you know, shot us down or hurt us or done something bad. But a lot of times we won't hear the stories of the fact that if you just speak respectfully to a police officer, he'll just do his job, because not all of them are bad. We hear about slavery. Slavery is absolutely horrible, that our ancestors had to go through these things. But let's make no mistake about it, son. And this is where I teach you to understand in life that there's two sides to every story. You hear the stories of slavery. You hear the travesties of slavery. You hear stories of people like Harriet Tubman, who escaped slavery. And you hear a famous word called the Underground Railroad. But understanding that there's two sides to every story means you realize that no black people can truly be a part of an Underground Railroad, because you had to be white to provide the service. You had to be white to hide the people in your home. And what does that mean for someone who risked their life for slavery, but that is completely oppressed? They risked their life for freedom, but what does it mean for someone who's not oppressed, who's absolutely white, and in the law's eyes, they're right, and they risk their freedom to get away from slavery? So those are white people who did the right thing. So no matter how bad things are, son, understand there's two sides to every story, and you can't put everybody in a box. Dear son, I tell you to stay out of trouble because staying out of trouble and doing the right thing is what you need. Everything I tell you is for a reason. As I said in Dear Dad, you have to know the reason why you're doing things, and I'll tell you the reason why I'm telling you things. See, each and every morning in Africa, the lion wakes up. He knows he must outrun the slowest gazelle or he will starve. Each and every morning in Africa, the gazelle wakes up. He knows he must outrun the fastest lion or he will be eaten. Whether you are a lion or a gazelle, son, you must wake up and start running. So when you get up in the morning, dear son, and you go to school, why are you going? You're going to school to learn how to think so you can make sound decisions for yourself, so you don't become a follower and end up being misled. Dear son, what are the 5 things I told you that you need? I told you that you need a passport. The reason why I'm telling you to stay out of trouble is because you need the passport. God said if you're oppressed in one land, you can go to many different lands because he made the earth spacious, right? But a passport is your key to the world that your Lord created for you, and you need to be able to get around. You can't do it without a passport. And if you make mistakes, that can be taken away from you. Dear son, I tell you to make your own money so that you're not financially oppressed in this world. When you give people the right to feed you, you also give them the right to starve you. So when I tell you to go out there and learn how to sell oils or go out there and learn to generate your own income, it's because you need that power, son, so that when the world says you don't deserve something, you have the power to decide that you deserve it for yourself, and you can go out and get what you feel like you got coming. Dear son, I talked to you about credit and paying your bills on time and not making rash decisions. Because, see, credit is everything in this country that we live in. Let's be honest. You can have $10,000 in a duffel bag, but if you go to an apartment building and they run your credit and it says 315, there's a possibility they're going to tell you to pack up your cash and get out. And they will not rent you the apartment because credit sometimes, not having it, will lock you out of commerce. And you will find that doors will close on you everywhere you go. So that's why your dad says to work on your credit and have good credit. Dear son, I want you to have a gun license because in this day we live in, this world we live in, sometimes we have to carry arms to protect ourselves. But wouldn't it be sad when you were really just protecting yourself and you find yourself in a state of hellfire on earth because you just did the right thing because you didn't have the right to possess the gun. So do not give up your gun rights. You understand? Keep them. Dear son, the last thing I'm going to tell you, the 5 is your religion. Make sure that you respect and you maintain being a Muslim because your religion is a safeguard of all of your affairs, and it's how you stay out of trouble. And dear son, the last thing I want to teach you is there's nothing stronger than a mother's love. A mother's love is everything. It's bigger than dad's love because mom's going to be there for you. She's going to love you. She's going to take care of you. At the end of the day, if you committed a horrendous crime that people were embarrassed to even mention that you did, your mother would drive miles and miles and miles to see you and do everything in her power to make sure that you're okay. But I need you to understand something. Your mother's love is just that. It's from your mother. And in this world, though she calls you her baby, though she calls you her baby boy and the love of her life, at 15, 16, 17, as a young black man, when you make a mistake, they will throw the kitchen sink at you and sink you and take away years of your life over one mistake. So, dear son, these are some of the lessons I teach you because you are transitioning from being a boy to a man. That's my story.